The unlikely setting of Cardington's gigantic airship hangar was the starting point for the revived Tour of Britain, an ambitious event designed to bring together in a single competition the cream from both racing and rallying. Among the entry, two of the best-known faces in British motorsport, Derek Bell and Roger Clark. But one of them was surprised to be there at all. Good heavens, a face from the past. What are you doing here?
Morning, Tony. We're going to play for the week, for the sound of it.
This is a surprise.
It was a surprise to me last night about 10:30. It's a very pleasant one.
Have you actually ever driven one of these before?
Never sat in one before. We've got plenty of time to learn this week.
Roger was standing in for Formula One driver Johnny Herbert, taken ill at the last minute. It meant 5 times Le Mans winner Derek Bell was somewhat isolated. You're the best-known circuit driver on the event. How are you going to get on against the rally men?
Well, on the circuit's probably half reasonably. They've got a bit more power, but the car handles very well. And then on the rally stages, well, they're going to have the advantage. But, you know, I've learned quite a lot, I suppose, in the last 2 years, although they're out every 2 weeks and I'm out once a year. But it's going to be great fun, and I'm looking forward to it with great enthusiasm.
Despite Derek's optimism, it looked a bit like a walkover for the rallymen, much as in the old Tour of Britain. While the first event in 1973 was won by James Hunt in a Camaro Z28, after that it was rally drivers to the fore, with Roger Clark himself winning in '74, showing superb car control in his Escort RS2000. At Silverstone on the opening day, that skill was back in action. Jimmy McRae in Sierra No. 3 was already showing a speed and stamina that was to leave everyone trailing. Among the lower numbers, another Scot, 21-year-old Robbie Head, was also enjoying himself.
Yeah, well, we've never raced before, and the first time I think was Silverstone. We won our first race, so it was great. I had some feeling getting the checkered flag.
So it's whetted your appetite for racing?
Well, I don't know. I think the forest presents a bit more of a challenge, certainly.
Robbie was eventually to finish third, but his success demonstrated a principle about the problem for racing drivers.
I think it's more difficult for a racing driver. I'm speaking as a rally journalist, I don't know. It's more difficult for a racing driver to go on a stage than the other way around. And equally, if you're in production saloons, people think, oh, you've got the right car already. You have, but you have to register it for the road and things like that. And that's quite a complex process to be gone through. And of course, to convert it to lead-free petrol. So I think that's probably deterred a number of people.
With only 25 taking part, retirements would have been disastrous, and it didn't look good when Brian Wiggins, Derek Bell's chief rival, rolled his Astra at Silverstone. He soon recovered, but Roger Clark's chances took a nosedive with a puncture at Castle Coombe.
And it happened early enough so that if I had carried on, I'd still have to do 3 more laps to get the 75% penalty, which I would have thought it will wreck a car or wreck suspension. This early in the race, I elected to stop and take a maximum.
There were more problems in Wales, where 2 forestry stages had to be cancelled. Then it was off to Liverpool for the ferry to Ireland. 2 days of tests in both the south and north followed before moving on to Scotland and then back south to end the week at Brands Hatch. It was an ambitious plan, but the small field was probably due to the problems of using basically standard Group N cars, also needing to be adapted to use unleaded fuel, plus the extra expense of the trip to Ireland. So what was the sponsor's verdict?
The small field at first made me a bit twitchy, if you like. The reception we've had around the country, not just from the media, but from the people who've turned out all the time, is almost a sponsor's dream. We need more entries, if you like, if we're going to do this in the future, but we're very, very happy as Autoglass.
Day 5 in Scotland, and Jimmy McRae was still leading. He could generally dispose of Graham Middleton's 4-wheel drive Toyota on the circuits like Ingliston, but the new British National Rally Champion was only a minute or so down, thanks to his Celica's better traction in the forests and at the Croft Rallycross. Day 6, and it was my turn to join Derek Bell in the Astra, but the complicated Fort Dunlop auto test was one to forget. Getting the route wrong meant a maximum penalty, but we were in good company. Some addled brains meant only 7 drivers got it right and thus avoided any penalties. Peterborough and the East of England showground was more fun.
2:30, 2 minutes 30. Fastest time so far.
Fastest time so far. That was very exhilarating indeed. We saw the Derek Bell racing driver there, lots of fast straights and tarmac, a little bit of loose. You enjoyed that, didn't you?
Yeah, it was fantastic, yeah.
I don't think it was helped by the bottle flying around in my feet.
And also he lost his damn stopwatch. He's fumbling around like this. So we couldn't argue with the timekeepers.
Great.
Okay.
Then it was on to Snetterton and a night race, something Derek Bell is well used to, but it was to bring the end of the Salikas challenge. Brake failure on the 130-mile-an-hour straight led to a series of barrel rolls and a shaken, but thankfully uninjured, Graham Middleton out of the rally. And so to Brands Hatch, the final event and a chance to reflect on a hectic week's motoring.
It's been absolutely superb, Tony. It has been the business. I've had more dramas and offs and ons, but it's been fantastic. The camaraderie, everything. I mean, I didn't like this guy before the event, and now I'm thinking of adopting him.
I still don't like him. He's said it all there, you know. It's been fantastic. And to find we're now, I think, 10 seconds in front of Roger Clark with 50-odd miles to go is terrific.
Roger Clark's chances of grabbing second place evaporated when his turbo failed, but he was still cheerful. How did he compare with the earlier tours that you did?
Very similar in character and flavour. Quite long road sections and all sorts of tests thrown at you, which is very easy to make all sorts of mistakes on, which I think virtually everyone has found out. It's been very good.
So would you come again?
Love to.
From Derek Bell, a similar positive response.
It was great. I enjoyed it very much. I think it was a great idea, and it was fabulous for me to get out in the forest and play at something I've never done really before. It was just very exciting, and you know, I think any racing driver should have a go at the forest before he says he's finished, because it's another world.
After scrutineering, a time penalty for Astra rival Brian Wiggins gave Derek Bell a win in his class, and other alleged technical infringements meant the results are still provisional. But Jimmy McRae wasn't worrying about that.
I think it's obviously it's a very good event, and it's a shame they didn't get the entry they deserved. But I'm quite sure with the atmosphere and everybody that's finished or everybody that's here tells everybody else there'll be a lot more entries next year. I think they deserve it.
Well, our congratulations to Jim McRae on an impressive win. Indeed, our congratulations to all the competitors. Obviously, they had a very good time. One has to ask, I think, though, can this event survive with so thin an entry? Tony, what do you think went wrong?
Well, not a lot actually. I think that it was rather over-ambitious for a first event. There was the trip to Ireland, which was an innovation. There was the unleaded fuel. They were all Group N standard cars. There were too many new things, perhaps. But it has been a success. The organisation has been impeccable. And I think that people who have seen this, and they'll all come back next year in reasonable quantities.